Every now and then, I get that one person who tells me, "You need to get back to work." And when I hear this useless phrase, it takes up residence in my brain for weeks. I have to be honest with myself. The reason it digs its way to the surface of my mind and dances around in the background of my day is because it hurts to hear. If I could go to work tomorrow, I would. So being told that's exactly what I should be doing, it only eats away at whatever level of acceptance I've managed to build over the years. With that said, in recent years, I've moved away from the whole erase the stigma movement. Not because I think it's a bad thing to aspire to, on the contrary, pushing through the weight of judgment and ignorance can get us further than simply saying, "I wish the world understood me and didn't treat me poorly because I have a mental illness." Why have I decided to stop fighting for total acceptance? Well, simply put, it prolongs my mental agony. Fighting the good fight, as they say, keeps me boiling in the stew of PTSD. It makes my anxiety hover at a constant 5 and stretches my depressive episodes into something heavier and longer than they need to be. And personally, that's not helpful for me. But that's not the only reason. For one thing, you can't expect all 8 billion people on this planet to suddenly change their views on mental health. In that sense, the absolute nature of the language feels like a misnomer. And my other reason, it's become a buzzword. And when something turns into a trending buzzword, I, along with many others, get the ick. It makes sense. We don't like things being forced on us. For a lot of people, constantly seeing in the stigma or some variation thereof feels like it's being shoved down their throats. And when people feel like something is being force-fed to them, they're more likely to resist it. Again, I'm not saying that advocating for mental health awareness is bad. I'm simply articulating why I don't use that phrase much anymore. Fortunately for me, I can help in other ways. By telling my story. Because maybe, just maybe, hearing the same old one-liners that have been used to death to gain followers and please social media algorithms is actually doing the opposite of what we want. I know for me it is. Seeing the same mental health meme from 100 different people doesn't feel inspirational anymore. It feels dull, quite frankly. Of course, the downside to not following the trending approach is that fewer people see my work. And I'm okay with that. Yes, my work focuses primarily on mental health disorders like depression, anxiety, and PTSD, so naturally, there's going to be some redundant content. But I believe the range of my work is its strength. Within my writing, I focus on rebuttal, in a sense. For example, there are countless posts about how men don't seek help for their mental health. But that narrative, it's no longer true. On the contrary, more and more men are reaching out and getting the help they need. So rather than endorsing the same old status quo, I take a more up-to-date approach. Because nuance is where it's at. We live in a world that is stuck on outdated information, and we keep spreading it around the internet, doing more harm than good. Believe me, you can find countless examples of information that is simply no longer true. And that goes for statements like, "You need to get back to work," or "You just need to get over it." By and large, people are becoming more supportive and kind. And the more we open up about mental illness, the more we all start to realize that we're not alone. And that's comforting. However we got here, and however we move forward in the conversation around mental health, the fundamentals will always be the same when it comes to improving your mental well-being. Acknowledgement, acceptance, good therapy, better diet, exercise, good sleep hygiene practices, forced social connection, a support network. At the end of the day, the mental health content you consume is only marginally helpful. What actually helps is putting the fundamentals into action. Because these principles, they have science for days backing them up. So look after yourself. Read 8 Pillars for Mental and Physical Well-Being at theroadtomentalwellness.com. To learn more about Jonathan, go to jonathanarenberg.com. All links found in the description.